But let me play in it, just knowing that I'm very excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. And we'll just, all the pieces will fall where they're supposed to, I'm sure, if it's meant to be, and I think it is. I just love to do this and sing it from Hollywood to Dollywood. And to Bollywood to Bollywood.
Hollywood to Dollywood to Bollywood. That's what it needs to be.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Wait, what? We are just 4 or 5 moments away from meeting Dolly Parton herself. The amount of influence and respect that we have for her. This is a pretty pinnacle moment.
She's been doing this since she was like 10, 11, 12, 13 or something.
Come along with us. Let's say good day to her.
Hopefully she likes us.
How beautiful you are.
And my brother Luke.
How you doing? I'm Luke. Good to see you.
Well, could you boys get any taller for you? Have you heard the song yet?
Oh yeah.
How'd I do? Oh, did it turn out okay? I just love the song, and I just think it's great.
All right, so here we are. We have this song, God Only Knows. I had this lofty idea. I'd watched Dumpling, and with my wife.
Oh.
And I thought, this would be incredible. What if Dolly would be able to feature on it? It's the first time you heard it. What was your take on the song?
When I first heard it, I thought it was one of the best songs I'd ever heard. I was very touched.
You are so
no,
kind.
I'm serious.
Making me feel great about myself.
You know, I came from a very spiritual background. My grandpa was a preacher, so I grew up in the church, and I love things to uplift people. And I pray every day that I can do that. So this song just came through my office, through my manager, and they said, well, we got this song, and they started playing it, and I went, oh, I can't believe this, because it was like how God does work in strange and mysterious ways, His wonders to perform. And I had just told my manager that I was going to go into doing more inspirational music, and it was just like God said, okay, won't you sing on this song? And I just had this great feeling about it, that this was a good song for now, for people, and I just loved it so. And I loved your singing now. My goodness, it was just so great on it. I thought, wow, I would be honored just to be part of that.
Whose voice do you think was better out of the two of us?
Well, I thought you were both good, and I'm not getting in the middle of it.
You literally are.
You are in the middle,
Yeah,
so.
I am in the middle, but pray for me.
We're live.
Good day.
I'm here going to sing your song. Hope I don't shame you to death.
I think you're gonna do just fine.
Thank you. You have, at the very least, made our year, if not our careers, by being gracious enough to sing on this song. So,
Well, thank you very much. I felt honored. I think you're wonderful people, and I felt like this was a blessed project. I think it come to me through spirit, and hopefully we'll do something good to uplift people and glorify God. Is that what we're out to do?
hey, we've used your quote from
Hollywood to Dollywood to Bollywood.
I know you're welcome to Hollywood.
That's right.
I'll get you free tickets.
There you go.
Hey, we're gonna take you up on that.
That's right.
All right.
All right, have a good one.
I'll see you later.
All right,
See you
bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
Yep, to you as well.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows.
That's great. Hey, so.
I just laid into it and asked God to lead me through it, and He did. And I really felt like it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, those high notes in the chorus, and there's a kind of love that it knocked me off my feet.
Well, good. I was in the spirit.
You were in the spirit. What brought me to tears the first time I heard it was that last. Oh, it's going to get me a bit now. That last. God only knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. And there's that, like you singing that was like, it was, speaking of providence and God, it was like, it was designed for you to sing those
Well, I
words?
love those kind of melodies, you know, because I do a lot of that old world sound where it has that, you know, go into that minor key. And so I loved what it said there anyway, the way that you had written it, but it just seemed like it did fit me. It fit my style and it fit my heart. And so I hope that you're proud of it, and I hope that everybody likes it.
We're very proud.
Yeah, and I hope God's proud of us. It's a good day. Yes, it is. Good to see you. I'm looking so forward to this.
I can't wait for you to see it.
Some might say the leading character in this music video is actually the machine behind us from a car manufacturing system.
Plant. I say it's Dolly, but Luke says it's the robot. You know, you see all those videos with the... So there's two characters in each room, and the robot basically does exactly the same move, precisely, and the same focus pull and everything, twice, so that you can cut out one half of the frame and magically stitch it together. So there's two Dollys.
Let's go sing about Jesus.
Let's go sing about Jesus. I like that. Let's do it.
When you hear a song, when you write a song, you always have these ideas of how a listener might hear it. But when you think of being a part of the song, like, how do you want the listener to feel after hearing, you know, your vocals on it, you being a part of this song? What do you think?
Well, I want them to feel the way I did when I first heard it. Everybody will relate to it in their own way for going through what they're going through.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting when we actually started working on it. You write this song, and then all of a sudden you start hearing the stories, and you start peeling back the layers, and you hear these statistics like in the 80s, 20 I think % of Americans claim to be lonely, and now we've become more connected through smartphones and multimedia and the internet than ever, and yet that number of loneliness has risen from 20% to almost 50%. So you've got one in two people basically saying that they're lonely.
Because people go through so many things now, but God only knows what you're going through, like your song said, and I thought that was such a commercial idea to write right now, because God knows when you're hurt, and He knows all of that, and so it's just all there. It's just that had to be an inspired song when you wrote it. You had to feel it.
When you look at this and you think of the world and the song, if you had a hope for it, what would it be?
I would hope that it would start people thinking more about goodness and kindness and love. There's a love out there for us to draw from, and I really think right now we really need it. To me, to answer your question, I thought it was kind of like God just gave me this little thing here. Here's a gift. You want to do this stuff for me, and these are good people, and y'all are talented. I've given you this talent, so put it together and let's do something good for the world. I think it's time that people like you and people like me that are in a position to do greater things, I think it's time to be doing it, and I really hope this touches the world in the way that it's touched me.
Thank you for bringing your voice to something so special.
Dolly, this might be one of the great days of our lives.
Well, good. Same to me.
There's a kind of love that God only knows.